No matter what situation you're put in, if you look inside yourself and ask yourself one question, am I doing the right thing? If you ask yourself that, you know the answer. And no amount of money or no order or law or anything should be able to make you go against doing the right thing.
When they called me and fired me, the first thing that went through my mind was my kids. I'm the primary breadwinner. I don't know how the bills are going to get paid, and I didn't know what I was going to do as far as a new career. All my eggs were in this law enforcement basket.
Tell me what just happened.
I was terminated.
Why were you terminated?
Filing charges with the mayor and the chief of police.
No officer should go through what I've gone through for doing the right thing.
Folks, just to let you know, when you do the right thing around here, you get terminated for it.
And what you end up with is a police department where the good officers have been run off, and you have a bunch of officers just willing to play the game.
We need to start looking at ourselves as officers and thinking, is what I'm doing right?
I should not have lost my pension for doing what was right. Like, I lost everything. I have 5 children, and I lost everything.
Guess what? I need to keep this job more than anybody. I have 3 young children.
I gave them an affidavit in the Whistleblower Act and served them their charges. Folks, just to let you know, when you do the right thing around here, you get terminated for it.
Former Buffalo police officer Cariel Horn in a battle tonight to get her pension. She was fired for trying to stop a fellow officer she says was abusing a suspect.
What was your thought process when you decided to step in?
Well, I yelled to him. I said, Craig, you're choking him, thinking that, whatever happened in the house, that he would come back to reality and stop doing what he was doing. And he didn't stop, so I grabbed his arm from around Neil Mack's neck, and they fabricated a story, but I never jumped on his back like they said.
Kwiatkowski's own words seem to conflict with the charges. In sworn testimony, he says, "She never got on top of me."
I simply grabbed his arm from around Neil Mack's neck, because Neil Mack was already handcuffed, so there was enough officers there to control the situation.
Well, now more than a decade later, the Buffalo City Council has voted to ask the State Attorney General, Letitia James, to reinvestigate Horn's firing.
So if I have nothing else to live for in life, at least I can know that I did the right thing and that Neil Mack still breathes.
Auburn, Alabama is home to sprawling plains, the Auburn University Tigers, and a questionable police force. After the arrival of a new police chief in 2010, the department entered an era of ticket quotas, a common thread tying Auburn PD to other departments in Alabama and even nationwide. Air Force veteran and Auburn native Justin Hanners was a police officer on the force who felt compelled to speak out.
When I first heard about the quotas, I was appalled. I got in law enforcement because I wanted to serve and protect, not be a bully.
Auburn PD's new police chief, Chief Dawson, had new priorities and new marching orders that the chain of command obeyed without objection.
Officers will have 100 contacts per month, a minimum. 40 of those may be warnings for traffic. The other 60 will be divided between traffic citations, non-traffic citations, field interviews, and custodial arrests. Do not be the one that does not get 100.
That's 72,000 contacts a year in like a 50,000 person town. One thing Sergeant Neal did, started instructing me and my partner to arrest people that we didn't feel like had broke the law.
Stay active at Saturday night. Go out here and make some contact with Francis in jail. Buy some tickets and all that neat fun stuff that we sign up with people when we sign up for this jail.
It was one, I think it was maybe Friday or Saturday night, one of the big bar nights. We saw a guy walking on the sidewalk. He was staggering a little bit, but he was, walking quietly to himself. He was on the sidewalk, wasn't stepping out in the street. We thought, well, it's clear he's been drinking. We'll at least contact him, make sure he's okay. So We get out on him, we contact him. He knows who he is, where he's going. We determined that he's good to go, we let him go. Well, our sergeant saw it and told us to go back and arrest him. He pointed to me and said, "You need it for your stats." So I told him it's not about what I need, it's about what he needs, and he doesn't need to go to jail. So he got out of the car and ordered us to arrest him, and I still refused, and my partner, scared for his job, went ahead and arrested the guy and took him to jail for public intoxication.
It wasn't long before Justin had to start worrying about his own finances after the department made it clear that if he continued to speak out, it would cost him his job.
Oh, they started threatening my job and my career, warned me that there'd be consequences for doing this.
Justin was fired, and while the department declined Reason TV's request for information on the case, Justin says he was ultimately fired for violating a gag order.
Okay.
When they called me and fired me, the first thing that went through my mind was my kids. I'm the primary breadwinner. I don't know how the bills are going to get paid. And, I didn't know what I was going to do as far as a new career. All my eggs are in this law enforcement basket. It's what my calling was. It's what I've always wanted to do.
Justin hasn't found a new job. He's currently looking for a lawyer to take up his case and sue the department. Though after reaching out to the Police Benevolent Association for guidance, he found out that his grievances were actually pretty common.
They're like, basically, here we go with this again. It's a problem in more places than Auburn. This is a frequently occurring thing, and it's a battle with a lot of different officers and departments.
While Justin will continue his battle on the legal front, he thinks that the fastest way to get the city back on track is public accountability.
Once the people know, they can hold their elected officials accountable, and then it'll change. Officers have tried for years to change it from the inside, and they're either forced out or just leave from frustration. And what you end up with is a police department where the good officers have been run off, and you have a bunch of officers just willing to play the game. They want to be the bullies. They want to show how bad they are with a badge, and that's what you get left with.
Listen, you need to stand up for what's right. You need to, if you're part of a department or an agency that is asking people or asking their officers or their deputies to impose on people's rights and infringe on their freedoms, you need to step up and say, no, that's not me. That's not what I signed up for, and that's going against my oath. And if that costs you your job, so be it. At least you'll be able to look at yourself in the mirror at night.